Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 3. Do make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more pop culture commentary and videos. So, Amy and John, we finally get to see the big reveal between the two of them. They seem to have a lot of chemistry, though Johnny is not her usual type. Again, she reiterates that she typically prefers men of color with dark hair and dark features. So let's see how this continues to play out. Clay, meanwhile, he's crying to Jamal in the men's quarters about how people always perceive him as being some sort of an F-boy, and he claims that he's a good guy deep down who wants to be valued for who he is as a person. So why be so shallow then? Like, no one told him to demand to know what AD looks like on an experiment about blind love. And I'm sorry, but if everybody thinks that you are this shallow F-boy, then maybe it's time to take a look in the mirror at the way that you are speaking to people and behaving, because it's probably true. On a positive note, though, I will say that it was nice to see him feel free to cry. Listen, American men need to cry more on TV. Like, I see them crying all the time on French TV and kissing each other under the cheeks and stuff to cheer each other up. So it's nice to see a little bit more of that on the American side. Jamal did a really good job supporting him, and he even opened up about his own crying. He's like, y'all can't see behind these tinted glasses, but I do be crying. So next he has his date with AD, and I'm glad that she confronted him about his shallow comment about her appearance when he tried his pity party about like his shallow love never being good enough for anybody and whatnot. Like, please grow up here. Meanwhile, Brittany asks Kenneth what race his family is, which is the strangest thing. I've never heard of someone asking what race is your family. Like, why not just ask what race I am? You know what I mean? It's just so weird. But I guess she was just trying to be as polite about it as possible. So he says that he's black, and they both did correctly assume each other's races, and they are both fine with interracial dating. So I'm glad that that elephant is out of the room there on that end. I gotta be honest though, at this point, I'm not sure I see a love connection between the two of them, as hard as they're trying to make it one, just based off of their shared backgrounds and whatnot. Like, so far, separately on the screen, they don't really look like a couple that you would see together in real life. You know, they don't really match to me, like, looking at them physically, but who knows, maybe in real life it's going to be different if they end up engaged. One thing they do reveal though is that they're both super religious, and as such they would prefer to wait until marriage to have intercourse. Now let's get into Jeremy. Jeremy, it turns out, has terrible sleep apnea, and he snores a lot, and sometimes he'll stop breathing and then gasp for air. That is like the worst type of person to sleep next to. It's like a total like a deal breaker for me now. It's like maybe separate rooms, but I'm not ruining my sleep with someone like that. Like, no thank you. He does say that he's got the sleep machine and everything like that, but oof, I don't know, couldn't be me, to be honest with you. So Sarah Ann, who is speaking to him, I gotta say, like, I don't know, some of the stuff she said on TV was a bit like, yikes. She comes out as being like, you know, more on the conservative side. She's not super fond of abortions unless you've been like, you know, violated or something like that, which is like, girl, like, it doesn't affect you. Let people do what they want to do with their bodies. Like, it's better for someone to abort a child than to be forced to give birth to a child and mistreat the child. How many stories? In fact, I just heard a story about a woman who put her daughter in the oven and baked her to death. Okay. And I heard another story about someone who stabbed their child. So to me, this is what I'm thinking of when I think of how not everybody should be having kids. People should be free to opt out. You know, when you force people to have kids, do you not feel guilty when you hear these kinds of stories? You know what I mean? I don't like that. So anyway, Jeremy, though, was on the right side of history when she asked the question in return to him. He said, listen, I don't feel like as a man, I have any business having an opinion on what women do with their own bodies. And I was like, yep, 2 snaps for you, baby. You are much better than that girl. So Jeremy's dad, it turns out his dad is dead as well. And I'm like, listen, wasn't I just saying this in the episode 2 recap? There's an unusual amount of people here at this age with a dead parent. Like, what is going on? Is this like number 6 now? Like, this is a lot. Like, I'm really sad. Like, what is happening? This is the first time. We're 6 seasons into the show, and this is the first time I've heard of it being such like a frequent thing. Like, what's in the water in North Carolina? How long are people living until on average there? I'm scared, you know? So anyway, back on the flip side, Kenneth proposes to Brittany, and again, I don't know, y'all, at this point, I'm just not seeing it for this couple, but I'm holding out hope because they both seem sweet as pie. Now, it's a new day, and Jessica starts crying because she's overwhelmed with like just all the emotions of the experience, which I totally understand. And she says that she really loves Jimmy and she wants him to propose, which I just don't see it happening. Again, I think he's turned off by her having a daughter, to be honest with you. And then Chelsea claimed to look like Megan Fox. So I think he's going to be swinging more in that direction. Now, he asks Jessica what a typical day in her life is like. And of course, every step involves her daughter, right? Packing her daughter lunch, taking her daughter to school, picking her up from school, all sorts of stuff, right? Because she's a single mom at the end of the day. And he just starts cracking his knuckles on purpose, he says, to just being annoying. And it's like, don't just say you don't like that she has a child. Okay? Like, just say it. You're young. You don't have a child. So it is a lot to expect for you to just all of a sudden jump into dad mode or to be like interested in having a child as part of your daily routine. Just say it. There's nothing wrong with it. I said it the first time in episode 1. I said, kids are a deal breaker for me. My life is just so free. I could do whatever I want, whenever I want. So if I met a person and he had a kid, I wouldn't be up for it because I like my freedom. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with saying that. And like, there's everything wrong with just leading someone on and just being annoying. You're taking away time. She could just go home and be with her child, you know? If you would just be honest and say you don't want to be with her. But like, I don't like this. So anyway, she tells Jimmy that he is her person, but she's fine with him dating around until he's ready to propose, if he ever is ready. Which, girl, you two need a little bit more like self-esteem, you know? Like, you're too cute to be doing all this. I'm sorry. Like, this guy is cracking his knuckles and he says he just wants to annoy you as you're talking about your kid. Like, he needs to grow up. Jimmy tells her that she has him in a chokehold, but then he doesn't really say about where she ranks with his dates, like that she's number 1 or what, because she says that he's first round draft pick. By the way these people speak this season and all this like meme speak and internet speak is so annoying. I'm like, oh my God, got me in a chokehold, first round draft pick, not me crying, not me falling in love, not me being engaged. Like, it's just so like cringy to me. And then like in a later episode, which we'll get to, Chelsea's like, you made me so uncomfy. It just, all this stuff makes me want to gag. It sounds so stupid in real life, but I digress. So next up, we've got, speaking of Chelsea, Jimmy's date with Chelsea, and he seems so much more energized to speak with her than he did with Jess. It's like palpable. And like, I'm sorry, but then on the flip side, she's got her date with Trevor and he tells her that he loves her and she's just shocked at the revelation, but she doesn't return the sentiment to him. She's just not sure yet. And then she gets to the ladies' quarters and she cries to the girls about the situation because she doesn't want to make the wrong decision between Trevor and Jimmy, which to me signals that she most definitely will be making the wrong decision between Trevor and Jimmy. So definitely do stay tuned for that. Dun, 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 dun. Guys, how are you feeling so far about this season of Love is Blind? Is it living up to your expectations or not? So far, I'm quite like okay with it. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it like a 6, 7. Like the first episode was 10 out of 10 for sure. This episode was a little bit like more chill. I will say that the pod dates are dragging a little bit too long. I think normally we would be wrapping up the engagements by now and the reveals, but you've only got 2 engagements, 1 reveal, and I'm kind of over it at this point. I would have loved for them to put Kenneth and Brittany meeting in this episode so that we can like, hurry it along, but I digress. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video and do share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.